First, use a 2.5mm Phillips screwdriver to remove the two screws that fasten the extruder. Carefully set aside those removed screws. We suggest that you put them in a small box. Then, remove the screws that fasten the spring in place. Remove the extruder, then pull out the motor's plug. Remove the 4 screws on the front side of the extruder. Now, we can disassemble the extruder. First, take off the extruder's top cover. Note that there's an M3 nut inside the extruder case. Make sure to set it aside. The extruder also contains a plastic clamp with a bearing and axle on top. If you need to clean your extruder, remove those parts and set them aside. After opening the extruder, remove any residue lodged inside. Make sure that the extruder box and inner tube are cleaned out and unobstructed. Place the extruder upright so as to prevent parts from falling out during the cleaning process. Take the M3 nut and plastic clamp that you removed before and place them back in their original position. Note the position of the M3 nut and the plastic clamp. After refastening all the parts inside the extruder, refasten the top lid. Tightly fasten the lid with its 4 screws. Reconnect the motor's plug as pictured. Note the direction of the plug when replugging. Gently push the extruder back into its proper position. Rescrew the 2 M3 screws into place. Then, rescrew the spring's clamp screws. Make sure that the head of the screws are about 6 mm above the base of the extruder. After refastening the extruder, it's time to run a brief test. Run the material sequence off the main menu. After the nozzle finishes preheating, select Skip to go directly into the feeding step. Use diagonal pliers or another tool to cut the filament diagonally so as to give it a pointed tip. Take the filament and place it inside the extruder feed port. Your hand will feel the feed port clamp and fasten the filament, then tug it. When this occurs, press ready. Check to see if the nozzle discharges a small amount of filament. If it does, that means your filament has been successfully fed. Press ready.